Now, when I did the Coast to Coast a few months ago, we were on the air all night long, and I was telling these stories. Afterwards, we had over 3,000 emails in just 2 days. People really identified with what I was saying. Well, one of them said, George Noory wouldn't let you finish. He said I would get to something, and I think he was a little afraid of what it was going to lead to, and he wouldn't let me complete the story. One of them was, people said he wouldn't let you talk about the source. He wouldn't let you talk about God. And maybe they are a little afraid of what we're going to find, but believe me, it's beautiful. So you want me, I can tell you about God, okay? Because well, I'm not going to just, say anything about the church, but really they are caught in their own thing. They have not really explored what it is all about. But what I have found, I've had many, many people now who go back to the beginning when they were with God. We were all there in the beginning. That's where we all started out, the source. And whenever we left the source, it exploded out. It said, go, my children, and learn everything and bring the information back. That's why there is no good, there is no bad, it's only experiences, lessons. What do you learn from those lessons? Well, they've all described God or the source the same way. First thing you're going to have to get over thinking he is a man. If anything, he would be a woman. Because the woman is the creative force, if he was going to be one or the other. But he is neither. It's an energy. We tend to personify because that's the way our brains work. It is a tremendous energy. And when they describe it as a huge, bright light. Some of them talk about the great central sun. And some of them say, I am in the sun, but it is not like the sun we know. It's a tremendous, huge, bright light. And when they go there, all they feel is total love. They are together. Everyone is together. And you don't know how that feels. They say, I'm back, I'm home. They always say, I'm home. And the feeling is so tremendous, they don't want to leave because they're all together. And when they were sent out, they felt a separateness. And a lot of us are still looking for that. We want to go back. We always want to go home. We don't understand where home is, but we know it's not here. But when they go back to that, it is such a tremendous feeling. They have love washing over them. I've seen the body shake and convulse because they're experiencing the beauty of it. So when they go to that part, I'll say, well, I know I'm talking to a body laying on the bed. And I say, well, if it was so beautiful and they don't want to leave, then why did you leave? They had to if I'm speaking to them now. And they will always say the same thing. I heard the call, and I volunteered to go. And a lot of times they're on the spirit side, I've had them being meetings, and these spirits will be talking to them saying, Earth is in trouble. Will you want to go and help? And they've never been anywhere. Imagine what that would be like. That pure, that uncontaminated, and to come here? When they come into the body, it's like, oh my, what was I thinking about? Because Earth it's the densest, heaviest planet there is. And when they come into the body, when they're being born, they'll say, I don't want to be here. It's just so heavy and dense. I like it better when I was over there. So this is what God is. It is a tremendous energy. And it's so full of total love. But some of these people have come, and you're going to find out by the time I get finished with this, many of you are sitting here right now. But this is what happened when I did it on the air. Everybody was identifying with, I'm going to tell you the signs of how to know if you're one or not. But other ones were on spaceships, UFOs, other planets. They also heard the call because they go back to this life when they're just living a normal life as an alien body. And then I said, well, what happened? Why did you come? I heard the call. He said, the call went out. Anybody who wants to help Earth, come. Earth is in trouble. And they all decided to come. But when you come, the memories are taken away. So here they are, stuck in the body. So what I've found is 3 waves, I call them, the 3 waves of volunteers. The ones, now many of you are probably the old school, are still stuck on the wheel of karma, but I think when you're interested in these kind of things, maybe your mind is opening up, maybe you are part of the other groups, because everything is changing now. The first wave, when I wrote my book, Keepers of the Garden, he was the first one I found, and I didn't know what in the world it was. Now I'm finding it again and again and again, and I call them the first-timers. The first wave, I think, are like in their 50s now. You can see, I said the age when it all started. My daughter says she thinks I'm being too rigid on these ages because some of them may overlap. But the first wave had the most difficult time of all. They are like in their 40s and 50s. But I've had some contact me that are in their early 60s, and I think I fall into the same category. So you can't be too rigid, but it started right after the atomic bomb when the first call went out. The first wave, most of them their whole life, they've not wanted to be here. They felt like they didn't belong. They said, I don't want to be here. They don't understand the violence. I want to go back. I don't want to be here. I want to go home. I don't know where home is, but it's not here. Many of that first wave have tried to commit suicide because they don't want to be here. They've had a very difficult time. Now, the second wave, I think, are going into 40s and the 30s. The second wave is like channels of energy. They say they're antennas. They are just here as a generator to let energy flow through them, and so that they can send it out to other people. All they have to do is walk through a mall, walk through a crowded store, and their energy affects everybody. Of course, they don't know it's doing that, but that's what they're here for, is to spread the energy. You don't have to do anything. They said they just have to be. So they have a lot more peaceful than the first one did. And I asked them one time, why did the second group have a much easier time than the first group did? They said because the first group were the way showers, the pioneers. Somebody had to blaze the trail. The second group followed after that. And we're probably going to get into some more. Oh, the second group, too, usually don't have children because they said having children creates karma. They just want to do their job and get out of here. They don't want to get stuck. Just do this assignment, then we're all going back home where we're supposed to go. Now, the third wave are the new children. These are the ones that are the hope of the world. They are coming in with everything in place. Everybody's DNA is being changed because we are moving into a whole new world, a whole new earth. The DNA is being changed in our bodies so we can adapt to the frequencies, the changes of the frequencies. The new children the DNA is already there. It's already adapted. They are in place. We have to play catch up. Let me say something before I forget it. Okay, when this energy came into the bodies at the first time, you imagine how that energy would be so, well, alien is a good word, even if it came from the source, it would be so different to enter into a human body that the energy is so strong and it doesn't match the energy of the human body. So many times when they first tried the experiment of getting their soul into a human, into the fetus, the energy was too strong. This meant the mother's energy also was not compatible. So many times it would cause the baby to abort or to have miscarriage because the energies wouldn't match. So when that happened, they would try again if it was supposed to be those parents. And this time they said, well, we'll just send part of the energy in, of the soul, so that the fetus can handle it. And then as the child grows older, we'll give a little more of the energy. So if you can understand this, it's as though the whole soul does not enter at one time. So many people have noticed changes in their life from childhood as it goes along. They said something different was happening because some of the energy was being downloaded little by little until the body could handle it. And I've had clients that tell me after we have that, they say, you know, my mother did have several miscarriages before I was born. That was why they had to adjust with the mother's energy as well as the new incoming soul's energy because it was too different. So this is important as I go along with this. But these are the three waves. And it has caused problems because they don't understand why they're here. I think one thing is ironic about the second wave. They're supposed to be interacting with people because their energy influences everybody around them. But a lot of them don't want to be here. They don't like people. They don't like the way it makes them feel, so they isolate themselves away from people. And I said, that's defeating the purpose. How ironic. You're here to help with the people, and yet you close yourself away from them. But my daughter thinks maybe that means those are still influencing by just being here. Their energy maybe is helping in that way. But we have the three waves. Okay. Now, what I've found, I brought that. Well, there's even some more complicated, but I don't want to get into too much of that. But when I was on the air with George Nuri, he said, this explains the baby boomers. It's that age group, the baby boomers, because look at all the babies that were being born at that time. And also look at what happened in the 60s. The people, they didn't want war. They wanted peace. We had the hippies and the peace movement. They were all trying to make changes. They just didn't fit in with the violence that was going on in the world. But part of what I want to bring in here is the connection with the UFOs. You see, people are always thinking they're doing things to them. All they are doing is checking on their own. I told you agreed anyway, but if you're one of them, they know you're here. They're watching you to make sure you're going to be okay. That's part of the reasons for the implants, that they have to be able to locate you. They got to know where you are because you're one of them. A lot of the abductions, they don't like the word abductions. They like visitations better. A lot of that, you're taking you back to check on things and making sure everything is functioning, especially with the energy as you grow older, being more and more of that energy being downloaded into you. They have to go and make adjustments to make sure the energy is going to be accepted by the body in the correct way. So a lot of this, all the machinery and things that people see on the UFOs is as they are adapting the body and working with the body. And if the body is sick in any way, has any problems, they will do the things on the ship to adjust it and bring it back into harmony.